Good morning, influencers. Josh Steinley with Influencer Inc. coming to you with number 10 in this video series. And I think a lot of you are experiencing the same problem that I'm having. You've got a list of 50 things that you know you should be doing, but you only have time to do about 5 of those things. You're just too busy, and you're not sure how to get everything done that you need to get done. So let's talk about delegation here. So the key to freeing your time up, yeah, you can look at productivity, you can look at efficiency, you can get software, you can get tools, but at some point you need to bring in other human beings who can help you to duplicate yourself and essentially create copies of yourself so that you can get more done. So imagine this. You're working, let's say, 40 hours a week. Now, in reality, you're probably working 60 hours a week or 80 hours a week, or you're spending tons of time and you're just thinking, I don't have any more time to get anything done and I'm already working too hard. I'd like to work less. So what if you could double the number of hours or the amount of work that you could get done without actually doing any more work? And the way that you can do this is you can free up your time. Let's say that you're spending, out of the 10 hours you're working a day, maybe 5 of those hours you could easily outsource to somebody else and they can get that work done. Now you've got 5 more hours to do what only you can do. You can double your output, and not just double your output, but you can double your output on those things that matter the most, the things that only you can do, where you add the most value. So for example, if you want to start duplicating yourself, you want to free up your time, the first place that you go is you look for repetitive tasks, things that you're doing all the time, over and over and over again, that you could easily teach somebody else to do. Those are probably the things that are the cheapest for you to outsource and the easiest for you to outsource to somebody else, and where you're not really adding that much value because it is easy for somebody else to do. This is the stuff that you could pay somebody else maybe $10 an hour, $15 an hour to do. Maybe you can find somebody on Fiverr or Upwork and you can pay them $5 an hour to do this type of work. Maybe you can go hire somebody in the Philippines or somewhere else, and they're more than thrilled to get paid $5 an hour to do this because it's more than they're going to make doing normal work in their country. So you can find somebody, probably fairly affordably, to do these repetitive tasks. They might be able to do it better than you're doing it, and then you can focus on those things that only you can do. So look for those repetitive tasks that you do over and over, and look at that and say, okay, can I go find somebody else to do this? Could I train somebody else for $10 an hour to do this work? And what would that mean for my business if I could free up that time and not have to spend that time every week? How much more work could I get done on the tasks that are worth $100 an hour instead of me spending all my time doing stuff that I could pay somebody else $10 an hour to do? So when you're starting your influencer career, you're going out and you're speaking, you're doing social media, you're creating courses, you're writing books, you're doing all these things. Some of the things that are easy to outsource is posting to social media. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all these things, you still want to have a hand in this. You want to create a real legitimate conversation. So when somebody responds to me on Twitter, I tweet something out, they respond. If they get a response back from me, that's me. I'm not hiring anybody else to respond to me or respond for me. I'm not hiring other people to act as though they are me. But when I post things to social media, first of all, I use tools like Meet Edgar and I use Buffer to schedule content out. But also on Instagram, for example, I'm starting the Influencer Inc. channel on Instagram. And there it's going to be photos of famous, well-known people and their quotes that have to do with influence, that have to do with hustling, that have to do with getting stuff done. And so I don't have to go out and search for those photos. I don't have to go find those quotes. I just need to approve those quotes and make sure those are the quotes that I want going up. So I can hire somebody else to go find the photos, find the quotes, put those together in Photoshop and make them look nice. And then what do? I come in and I write the text that goes along with that post on Instagram, because that's something that is a lot harder for me to outsource. And I'm not sure I want to ever outsource that, because I like the way I write, I like what I have to say. I'm not sure I want to turn that over to anybody else. But a lot of that process, a lot of the time-consuming part of that process, I can turn over to somebody else. This morning I had a call with somebody who specializes in book marketing. Now, I can write my own book. I want to write my own book, although I'll bring in ghostwriters to help with research and other things. But when it comes to marketing the book, when it comes to getting interviews, setting up podcast interviews, getting on maybe TV, getting interviews for magazines, do I need to do all that myself? I can outsource that to somebody else, and maybe I'm going to get a lot more exposure for my book outsourcing that to somebody else than if I do it myself. So why would I want to do it myself and potentially get busy and bogged down and just never do it when I can outsource that to somebody else and get all that value out of it and be able to provide so much more value to other people by getting in touch with them through somebody else who's helping me versus doing it myself? So the first thing you might want to look at is getting a personal assistant. You can get a virtual assistant, and if you want to know how to manage a virtual assistant, go read Chris Ducker's book called Virtual Freedom. It's the manual on how to manage your virtual assistant. It's also a great book for managing a non-virtual assistant. If you hire a full-time personal assistant, this is also a great book on how to manage that relationship. But you might want to find a personal assistant first, because that's the person who's going to take care of a lot of the repetitive tasks, a lot of the things that you could easily outsource to somebody else. And it's great to have somebody that you can just turn to anytime and say, hey, can you take care of this? Can you do this? Can you do that? That you just give all your miscellaneous tasks to. If you have a specialized need, like you're starting an Instagram channel and you know you're going to be posting 5 times a day, this is going to be going on every day, all the time, then you might want to look for somebody more specialized before you hire a personal assistant and you just outsource that task first. But chances are you're going to need just a general all-purpose type of personal assistant who can get miscellaneous stuff done for you. And it's amazing how once you have somebody that you can turn to and outsource all these miscellaneous tasks, it's amazing how you find lots of stuff that you can turn over to that person. So once again, you want to double your time, triple your time, make yourself that much more effective without a lot of cost. Start looking at outsourcing to another person. Start looking for personal assistants, virtual assistants, and start outsourcing those repetitive tasks first, and then work upstream as far as you can until you get to the tasks that you know that you never want to outsource. Let me know how it goes.